Whenever you're ready. Notice of a public meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville pursuant to Chapter 551, Title 5 of the Texas Government Code, the Texas Open Meetings Act. Notice is hereby given that the Planning and Zoning Commission of the City of Brownsville, Texas has scheduled a regular meeting on Thursday, March 6th, 2025 at 5:30 p.m. in the Commission Chambers on the second floor of the Brownsville City Hall Old Federal Building located at 1001 East Elizabeth Street, Brownsville, Cameron County, Texas, 78520.
Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. We can have roll call starting to my right.
Daniel Elkin,
David Ramirez,
Eliza Vasquez.
Aida Rodriguez.
Ruben Obel.
There are no updates or comments at this moment. Next would be approval of the minutes for the regular meeting on February 6, 2025.
Do we have a motion to approve minutes?
So move.
seconded.
We have a first and a second to approve minutes. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearings. Public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2025-003-PD to establish a planned development district in a residential single-family zoning designation to allow reduced setbacks for 30.13 acres of land out of 110-acre tract out of Share 4, Espiritu Santo Grant, Cameron County, Texas, located on Military Highway, Brownsville, Texas, 78520. This request is to establish a planned development district. The reason being is to provide reduced setbacks. The current zoning of R1 single family has setbacks of 25 feet. They're proposing 20 feet. The proposed use is for residential single-family development, and the property is fronting Military Highway. This is an aerial view of the location. There are 200, this is a 200-foot buffer map. There are 10 mailouts with 0 written opposition. Current zoning for the area is predominantly agriculture with residential single-family on the opposite side of the area and 2 sections of commercial corridor, residential estate. Another view. This is a survey of the area. Staff recommends that this request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and staff recommends approval to establish a planned development district in residential single family to allow reduced setbacks, which would be 20 feet, I'm sorry.
So we're just changing from 25 to 20 feet setback.
Yes.
Can you tell us more or less where that property's at? The aerial is too close up. I can't see.
Military Road.
I know, but where on Military Road? Okay, so River Bend, is this
Yeah.
close to River Bend? Is it north, south, east, west?
So this property would be east, southeast of Riverbend.
Closer to the city of Brownsville then? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. If we have anyone in the audience that would like to address this topic, if you'd come forward and state your name.
So moved to close public hearing.
We have a first and a second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Commissioners have any questions?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve as staff recommends.
We have a first and a second motion to approve item number 1. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2025-004-S to request a specific use permit in the commercial corridor zoning designation to allow an event center for 4,100 square feet out of Lot 2, Block 1, Milian Plaza subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 1424 West Price Road, Brownsville, Texas, 78520. Again, this is a specific use permit to grant the use for an event center. This would be 4,100 square feet, and the property is fronting West Price Road. This is the 200-foot buffer map. There were 20 mailouts sent out, 0 written opposition. This is a current zoning map for the area. What predominates the location is commercial corridor. To the west, there seems to be R2 zoning, residential suburban, and then there's traditional neighborhood towards the bottom. This is another aerial view of the plaza that's there. And in yellow is a section within the plaza that would be applying for that SUP. This is a layout of the property. So the plaza's up there to the northeast, but the property also owns that parking lot towards the bottom.
Okay.
What, lot 2 down here in the bottom?
All that is one parcel.
Okay.
So that would be all the parking to the event center.
That I'm not too sure of if they're using that for parking.
So the parking area would be for the entire plaza. It's distributed for all the businesses. As mentioned before in other situations related to event centers, because they operate at different hours, we do find it adequate that there will be sufficient parking for the use.
Because they're going to be mostly holding events in the evening.
Correct, and also because there's more than sufficient parking, even for the entire plaza, using the parking spaces that are on the main property and the accessory on the rear, which is lot 2.
Okay. because Toucan is now there, so they have evening hours.
Right.
Okay.
This request is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. However, staff remains neutral and will follow the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the specific use permit to allow an event center or commercial corridor. If approved, the use will be subject to the following conditions, which would be sound mitigation regulations. Sound mitigation measures and interior finish out materials such as acoustic tiles or other approved sound dampening insulators shall be installed to maintain a noise level less than or equal to 60 decibels when measured at the common property line shared by the noise emitting use and adjacent residential zoning districts.
So can you explain to us why this is not consistent?
Well, the comprehensive plan and the future land use plan, the one that we currently have, unfortunately is obsolete. However, we still have to rely on it. In this area, what was projected, it developed differently. And so this type of use is not part of that plan. Therefore, we still have to deem it as not compliant with that plan. However, I mean, we can see that uses similar to this do exist close by or perhaps in the vicinity.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address this topic, if you would come forward. If you'll speak in the mic and give us your name, please.
Hi, my name is Esmeralda Delgado. If there's any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
You're the applicant.
Yes, correct.
Okay. So what kind of operating hours are you going to maintain?
Normally it'll be either a 12 to 4, maybe like a 6 to 9 time. But I was told that there should be enough parking for everything. And it's mostly going to be like a children's party event center. So not too late for that reason.
What other businesses are there? Do you know, Martin? I mean, besides Toucan, there's Camellias. Both of those are open during the day.
Yes, I believe there's also like a hair studio, Mr. Music. But yes, they're mostly open during the day.
I didn't know that they had additional parking.
Oh, yeah, they do, yes.
Any questions?
Martin, so you're saying on a full day, on a good day for the bar next door and for the event center, there's plenty of parking for both?
Yes, that I know of, yes.
Well, I can tell you it's probably going to fill up here first and then overflow.
So everything is done by occupancy. So it's calculated to make sure that the uses that are put in there have sufficient parking. Now, there may be, situation where if there's an excess amount of parking that's needed, there's always different avenues that the applicant can take where there's parking agreements with adjacent
Property owners.
establishments. So it can easily be resolved if need be.
So 4,100 square feet is large. How many people can she safely have in that and at one time? Do you know what the
That
fire code
case-
says?
It wouldn't be able to answer. It doesn't fall under the purview of zoning. It falls under the purview of construction and the fire department.
Mhm.
However, the application will get vetted and we'll go through the proper avenue to make sure that the occupancy level does not exceed, obviously for safety reasons.
How many people can you fit in there, young lady?
We're thinking of about maybe 80 to 100 people, of course, just depending what they let us know. Another thing that I did want to mention is on like the sound, since we did mention it was a kids party place, event center, there won't be any loud music, no DJing, none of that. It would be more like background music, kind of like the Walmart. You can kind of hear like, a little bit of background music. That's what we have planned. If it, if you had any questions on that.
You get 80 kids together, there's going to be some,
Yeah.
there's going to
maybe.
be some noise. Any other questions? Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to address this topic?
My name is Luis Sanchez. I work with the owners of the property. They own both that plaza and the one to the right of it that holds the daycare, UPS. and
The
all that stuff.
UPS?
So if needed extra parking, it wouldn't be opposed to them to park to the right side in front of where the daycare center is at. There's plenty of parking to go that they could use in case they do need extra parking. From what I've seen when I go most of the times to help them out or pick up rents or anything, the back parking lot that we don't see here, but the one that's associated with it,
Mhm.
doesn't really get filled up, especially with Toucans as well. Usually they park pretty much throughout the front side. Maybe late at night, they might use the far back side, but most of the time it's in the front, since most of the times where it does fill up is in the afternoons. I've gone during lunch rush hours and the parking lot is fine for Toucans and all the other tenants that are there in the plaza as well.
So what other tenants do you have in this plaza?
So we have Mr. Music, we have Toucans, we have a barber shop, hair salon, insurance, we have some medical supplies, we have one that does automotive care detailing products, print shop, and I want to say one that does like the fajas and things like that as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Any questions?
I need a motion to close.
So
public
move to
hearing.
close public hearing.
Seconded.
First and a second to close public hearing. All those in favor? Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Commissioners have any other questions?
Just real quick, that even though she said it's gonna be like kids' parties, they still have to do the sound mitigation and all that, right? Even though it's not gonna be that loud, okay.
I'm good.
I need a motion, one way or another.
So move to accept the specific use permit.
Seconded.
We have a first and a second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2025-005-S to request a specific use permit in a regional center zoning designation to allow an event center for 17,013 square feet out of Lot 1, Block 1, for Salsa Subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 266 Mexico Boulevard, Brownsville, Texas, 78520. Like the previous application, this is for a specific use permit for an event center. This one being 17,013 square feet, and the property is fronting Mexico Boulevard. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 5 mail-outs sent out and 0 written opposition. The current zoning for the area is predominantly regional center zoning with some agriculture zoning to the northwest and traditional mixed use to the south. This is another area of the location. This is where the old Amigo Land Mall used to be.
Mhm.
This is the layout of the proposed event center. It's going to be built from the ground up, essentially.
How large is that site? How many acres? 1 acre? 2 acres? Okay.
The request is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. However, staff does remain neutral and will follow the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the specific use permit to allow an event center and regional center zoning. If approved, this use will be subject to the following conditions: sound mitigation regulations. Sound mitigation measures and interior finish out materials such as acoustic tiles or other approved sound dampening insulators shall be installed to maintain a noise level less than or equal to 60 decibels when measured at the common property line shared by the noise emitting use and adjacent residential zoning districts.
So there's an office next door, am I correct?
Some kind of commercial business, yes.
I think it's an office, but there's also 2 event centers right down the street. And it looks like they're gonna have some good parking. Ladies and gentlemen, this is public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address this topic, if you would come forward, please. The developers are here. Okay, commissioners, do you have any questions for them?
Good. So move to close public hearing.
Second.
We have a first and a second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. What is the wish of the commission?
So move to accept a change of, from a specific use to a regional center.
It is a special, they're already a regional center. So we're not changing the zoning, it's just a specific use permit, right? Okay. We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Public hearing action on ordinance number 235-2024-006 to rezone from residential estate to light industrial to allow a freight terminal for 6.308 acres out of 8.750 acres out of lot 12, block 111, El Jardín re-subdivision, Share 29, Espiritu Santo Grant, Cameron County, Texas, located at North Minnesota Avenue, Brownsville, Texas, 78521. This request is to rezone to light industrial. The current zoning is residential estate. Proposed use is a freight terminal, and it is fronting North Minnesota Avenue. Background for this is that this was originally presented at Planning and Zoning Commission on May 5th, 2022, and was approved by Planning and Zoning Commission. It was denied by City Commission on May 17th, 2022. Some of the reasons being area is primarily residential, residential adjacency to the east and south, heavy traffic, and it was not consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. And now they have reapplied on January 22nd of this year, 2025. This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 13 mailouts sent with 0 written opposition. This is the current zoning areas for the location. That area, as well as a bit to the north, is residential estate. There is commercial corridor and regional center to the northeast, light industrial to the west, as well as residential transition to the southwest. And then ETJ, essentially directly abutting that location where the mobile home park is. This is another aerial view of the location. And the request is not consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan, and staff does recommend denial to rezone from residential estate to light industrial.
Can we see that? There you go. So those are all like auto body shops, I believe, that are right there in front? Or they're,
Yes, it seems to be a body shop and a mechanic shop being run on Coffee Road.
but there are other warehouses in this area.
There's a catty corner to this property, there's some warehousing, and there's the vehicle salvage yard. I believe it's called Frank's Auto Parts. You can see it here in the image on the bottom left-hand side.
Right.
The clutter of vehicles that exist on that property.
And that is a warehouse, kind of at the top right.
Right,
Martin, did you have the same recommendations last time?
correct.
So I think I spoke to these people, Madam Chair, and I think they're trying to get the property and build warehouses just like the top right there. I think that's all they're trying to do.
The light industrial storage warehouses. Are the developers here?
They are here.
Okay. This is a public hearing. Is there, if there's anyone that wants to speak on this topic, if they'll come forward, state your name, please.
Ophelia Ruiz from
Ms. Ruiz.
Rosas Careño, OC forwarding.
Thank you for coming. Do we have Can you tell us a little bit about your plans for this property?
Yes, this is more a storage, a warehouse storage. We don't own any equipment, heavy equipment like any trucks. So the trucks will not stay in the facility. It's just scheduled pickups and drop-ups. So operation hours will be something between 8 to 5 or 8 to 5:30. And again, no trucks will be allowed to overstay.
How big is this site?
I'm sorry?
How many acres?
It's total is 7,
6 acres.
well, rezoning 6.3.
Okay, yes.
So it's basically just a warehouse for storage, that's it.
That's it. We are
And-
receiving from our customers, finished good product, already packed. Just like, we're not packing, we're not assembling, we're not doing anything there, just receiving the finished good from, across the border and from some customers coming from Mexico, Querétaro and Guanajuato. And final destination is, China, Europe, and so
So is this going to be one warehouse or several warehouses?
one word.
Okay, so you're the owner and operator of the warehouse.
That is correct.
And how big of a warehouse are you planning to build?
Well, right now, like a 9,000.
Okay.
Yes, just like,
What are you storing in there?
I'm sorry?
What are you storing in there?
Right now, we're subcontracting. Right now, we're subcontracting, from another warehouses, and sometimes we're moving our product direct from Mexico to the customers because we don't own a warehouse. And one of our clients from a very good brand, he's interested in our services, so everything can be shipped out from Brownsville to Australia, Europe, and here in the US.
And what kind of product is it?
Some of the product is furniture, finished, it's already, again, it's just for, yes, completely packed. And another product is shoes.
Like women's and men's shoes?
Yes.
Okay. Nothing with chemicals or anything like that?
No, that's another thing. We're not interested in going onto that field with hazmat. No, it's just raw materials and the products that finished products that we handle is very, just furniture, shoes, and that's it. No glue, no adhesives, nothing chemical, nothing toxic.
And hours of operation, 8 to 5, basically.
Correct.
So what is on the north of that, Martin? The two little buildings there, that 1780 North Minnesota?
The church?
That's a church?
Oh, you said to the north.
Yeah, right on the north side.
Right, that's the south. Oh,
Oh,
yeah, that's a residence.
that's a residence there at 1780?
Yes.
And they did not have any opposition? We didn't receive
Didn't
anything?
receive any opposition.
Any other questions for Mrs. Reese? Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to address this topic?
So move to close public hearing.
We have a first and a second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. What is the wish of the commission?
If it's just a warehouse, then I move that we go ahead and move to, from a residential state to light industrial, if it's just a warehouse with dry goods.
We have a first motion.
And I have just a comment,
sir.
Madam Chair, but I think just as the applicant knows, regardless if it goes through or not, they're still, they understand there's a second phase they gotta go through, right?
Right.
We have a first motion to approve. I need a second motion or
I
another
second it.
motion. Okay, so we have a first and a second motion to approve. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed?
Do you need my vote to approve, Martin?
Yes.
Are you abstaining from voting?
If I abstain,
If you abstain, then we don't have a quorum, is that correct?
Well, if you abstain, we'll have a quorum, we just need 4 votes,
Okay.
We need 4 votes.
so majority.
Are you gonna,
if I abstain, this still goes through?
we still have a quorum.
Yeah, so
Nay.
just for transparency purpose, because there was a conversation, I'd like to.
Okay. Okay, so we have, he's abstaining, a nay. I'm going to vote to approve.
Go by one so we can have it for the record.
Yes.
Yes.
Nay.
4.
4.
Abstain.
Still goes through because it's majority.
Motion carries.
Public hearing and action on ordinance number 235-2025-007-PD to establish a planned development district in commercial corridor zoning designation to allow reduced setbacks for Lot 1, Block 1, Gomez subdivision, Cameron County, Texas, located at 6 Event Center Drive, Brownsville, Texas, 78526. This request is to establish a planned development district with reduced setbacks. Currently, the primary and secondary front require 25-foot setback. The current zoning is commercial corridor. The proposed use is a prayer park, and the property is fronting Event Center Drive. This is a survey of the location. In yellow is where they're proposing those PDD to allow the encroachment into the current setbacks.
So we're going from a 25-foot setback to what?
So as shown here on the screen, the closest setback or the biggest encroachment is being reduced to 8.83 feet. So it's going from 25 to 8.83, but that's just the secondary front. Then we have another encroachment of, it's being reduced to 15.32 feet and another reduction being 21.04 feet.
This is a 200-foot buffer map. There were 12 mail-outs sent, 0 written opposition. This is the current zoning for the location. It is a predominantly commercial corridor, and then there is residential single-family to the outskirts of the north, east, and west. It's another area view of the location. As you can see here, it's next to the event center and the tennis courts. The request is consistent with the comprehensive plan and future land use plan. Staff does recommend approval to establish a planned development district and commercial corridor to allow reduced setbacks. These would allow encroachment on the required primary and secondary front setback of 25 feet.
Okay, so how large is this property? 5 acres? And so I've noticed there's been some activity there lately. So what is the plan for the whole 5 acres? Do we have someone here?
5 acres for some 35 years. Never really wanted to do anything with it. Ernesto Gomez Jr. I've never really wanted to do anything with it. But I've cut off an acre, which put it back where the yellow marker is. And this area is known as the Cross. I don't know if y'all have ever seen it on the entrance.
Yes.
You know,
But the audience and
if you notice, the only part that is covering is where that blue line is. There's a lot of shrubbery in front, so it's behind that shrubbery. And what's encroaching as well is I need to put some pillars, and there's 3 pillars that I need to put. All right, and that's encroaching. It's not a building, doesn't obstruct any view. I like this place, and it's a promise I made to someone much higher than where I'm at right here. So with that, I'm asking for the excuse to encroach some feet, and everything else has been approved. It's gonna be a pretty nice looking little place. It's not a church. It's not gonna have walls. It's a pavilion. People go there at midnight. They go at night. They go early in the morning. Some doctors show up at 6 o'clock in the morning before they go to work. So other than that, any questions?
Questions?
So,
Thank
excuse me. So it's not a place of worship?
Yes, sir. What's that?
Is that a place of worship? A church?
It's not gonna be a church.
It's not going to be a church.
I'm gonna call it the Cross Hospital. People are hurting. They don't want to go to the church. There's 10,000 cars that pass by there, and people see churches, you just drive by it. But when people drive by that cross, they stop and it catches your eye, and they stop and think. So I had a dream. I had to build that cross. I did. So I've cut off my 5 acres. The 4 is going to be open, and I'm using up that one corner of the cross. I did have it in the middle for a couple of years, but the corner is a little more valuable and more attractive, I would think. So it's not for an economic gain or anything. It's just something I'm donating to my God up there. Anything else?
There's already people stopping and praying in that corner gallery.
Stop. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gomez. This is a public hearing. If there's anyone in the audience that would like to address this topic, if you would come forward, please. Public hearing.
Second.
We have a first and second motion to close public hearing. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. What is the wish of the commission?
I've been there a couple of times, Mr. Gomez, and I think it's wonderful what you're doing, so I make a motion to approve.
We have a first and a second motion. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for your contribution, Mr. Gomez. It is 6:07. I need a motion to adjourn.
So move.
We have
I
a
second.
first and a second motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Meeting adjourned. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, staff.
Mrs. Reese, I would suggest that you attend the commissioners' meeting and be there in case they have questions.